Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we explore the fascinating world of coin collecting. Today we dive deep into the rich and evolving history of Lincoln pennies, focusing on the years 2003, 2011, and 2021, coins that may seem ordinary at first glance, but carry a wealth of historical significance, minting variation, collector intrigue, and evolving market value. The story of the Lincoln penny begins far before these dates, but each of these years represents an important milestone in its journey through American pockets and hands. Beginning with the 2003 Lincoln penny, we see a continuation of the familiar design featuring the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which has been in use since. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we explore the fascinating world of numismatics, the study of coins currency, and their deep-rooted history. Today we dive into a journey that spans more than a century to uncover the hidden value behind one of America's most iconic and collected coins, the Lincoln cent, and more specifically, we will uncover the history, the varieties, and the market trends surrounding Lincoln pennies with special attention given to the coins minted in 2003. But before we get into the specific year, let us first understand the broader significance of the Lincoln penny. First minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln cent was the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person on the obverse, which was a revolutionary concept at the time designed by Victor David Brenner. The original coin featured Lincoln on the front and two wheat ears. On the reverse, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots, these wheat pennies were minted from 1909 to 1958 and became an instant favorite among collectors due to their symbolism, historical value, and overall artistic appeal. The initials VDB of the designer famously sparked early controversy when placed prominently on the bottom of the reverse of the 1909 version, resulting in the mint quickly pulling back production and reissuing the coin with the initials removed, making the 1909 SVDB one of the most sought-after coins in American coin collecting history. Over time, the reverse design changed in 1959 to feature the Lincoln Memorial in honor of Lincoln's 150th birthday. That design by Frank Gasparo remained until 2008, which means that the 2003 Lincoln penny falls right in the late stages of the Memorial reverse era. The 2003 Lincoln penny may appear ordinary at first glance, but like many modern coins, there are varieties, errors, and mint, characteristics that can significantly increase a coin's value to collectors and investors alike. Minted in Philadelphia and Denver. The 2003 pennies can be identified by their respective mint marks, P for Philadelphia, although in this case the Philadelphia Mint did not include a mark, and D for Denver. During this time, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies each year, but even with such high mintage numbers, collectors are always on the lookout for special traits, such as off-center strikes, die breaks, doubled, dies, and other mint errors, which can transform an ordinary 1-cent coin into a rare collectible valued at hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some 2003 pennies display doubling on the obverse, notably in areas such as Lincoln's eye, the date, or the lettering of Liberty, and In God We Trust, which when verified by professional grading services can fetch premium prices in the collector market beyond physical errors. Coins can carry added value due to their condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS or mint state 70 representing a flawless coin straight from the mint. If a 2003 Lincoln penny is preserved in a high grade such as MS 67 or MS 68, especially if it is certified by NGC or PCGS, it can be worth significantly more than face value because finding such coins in pristine condition is increasingly rare given their circulation and handling history. The metal composition of the 2003 Lincoln penny also reflects a change from previous eras. Earlier Lincoln cents from 1909 to 1982 were composed primarily of copper, but rising metal costs in the early 1980s prompted the U.S. Mint to shift to a zinc core with a thin copper coating starting mid-1982, making the modern penny lighter and more cost-effective but also less durable in the long term, as zinc is prone to corrosion, particularly when exposed to moisture over time. Despite this shift, the sentimental and historical value of the Lincoln penny endures and continues to captivate collectors young and old. The numismatic community pays close attention to even the most recent coins, and as coin grading technology and online marketplaces evolve, there is now more access than ever to coin price guides, error identification, and auction records, allowing hobbyists and professionals to evaluate and trade Lincoln cents with precision. And online marketplaces evolve, there is now more access than ever to coin price guides, error identification, and auction records, allowing hobbyists and professionals to evaluate and trade Lincoln cents with precision and confidence. Now let us go back to the origin and explore decade by decade how the Lincoln penny evolved both in design and in public perception. The 1910s through the 1930s were the golden era of the wheat penny, with coins struck during World War I and the Great Depression carrying both historical weight and scarcity due to limited mintages, especially during economic downturns. The 1943 steel penny made during World War II, when copper was diverted for the war effort, remains one of the most unusual and recognizable 1-cent coins, and collectors have been intrigued for decades by the extremely rare copper 1943 penny struck. In error, a coin that has sold for more than $1 million at auction. The 1950s marked the final decade of the wheat reverse, culminating in the 1959 debut of the memorial reverse, which ushered in a new era and greater awareness of Lincoln's legacy on American currency. The 1960s and 1970s saw massive increases in production as the U.S. population grew, and coinage demand exploded, leading to billions of pennies being produced annually. But among these high mintages are key varieties such as the 1969 S double die and the 1972 double die, both known for dramatic doubling on the obverse and fetching thousands of dollars in top grades. The 1980s introduced the copper to zinc transition as mentioned earlier, and the year 1982 alone saw 7 distinct varieties split between copper and zinc compositions, as well as large and small date font differences, which make 1982 one of the most complicated and fascinating years in Lincoln penny history. The 1990s and early 2000s, including our focus year 2003, were marked by steady production with occasional mint errors and the rise of third-party grading, making coin authentication and value determination more accessible to the public. 2003 in particular is a year where condition plays a key role in value, as billions were minted and only a fraction survive today in high mint state grades. Some unique finds, such as off-metal strikes or coins struck on foreign planchets, do exist from this period and have appeared in auctions and estate collections, yielding surprisingly high returns for their owners. 2003 also sits at the tail end of the Memorial Reverse series, which ended in 2008 and was followed in 2009 by the bicentennial Lincoln Cent program, which featured 4 different reverse designs marking different stages of Lincoln's life. The return of design innovation in 2009 rekindled interest in Lincoln pennies and brought renewed focus to earlier years, such as 2003, as collectors sought to build complete modern sets with a keen eye for quality and rarity. So if you are holding on to 2003 Lincoln cents or any other Lincoln pennies, it is worth learning how to examine them under magnification, how to spot common errors, how to interpret strike quality, and how to submit them to a grading service for potential certification. In addition to error varieties and mint state coins, the market also considers provenance, rarity, and overall demand. And since the Lincoln penny is one of the most collected coins in the world, there will always be demand for interesting specimens. Even in modern times, auction results for certified 2003 Lincoln cents In MS-68 red condition from the Denver Mint have exceeded $100, and error coins such as die clashes or multiple strikes from this year have appeared in private sales and online marketplaces. The story of the Lincoln penny is one of persistence, evolution, and national symbolism. It has witnessed over a century of American history, from world wars to civil rights, milestones, from political shifts to technological revolutions, and through it all, the penny remains a piece of pocket-sized history that continues to inspire collectors, historians, and citizens alike. And as we explore these topics throughout this video, we will examine real-life examples of 2003 Lincoln pennies that have made headlines, showcase professional tips on evaluating coin value, introduce online tools and resources for budding numismatists, and explore interviews and insights from some of the most respected experts in the coin collecting community. So sit back, relax, and join me on this deep dive into the world of Lincoln cents, where the smallest coin in your pocket might just hold a story and a value far greater than 1 cent. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we explore the incredible world of old coins and their hidden values. And today we are going to take a fascinating deep dive into the world of Lincoln pennies, focusing especially on the coins minted in the year 2011 and their unique place in history, their design, their context, and their potential value in the collector's market. The Lincoln cent has a history that stretches back over a century, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This iconic coin has remained in production longer than any other U.S. coin design in history and has undergone several important changes over the decades, both in design and composition. And each variation tells a story of American history, economics policy, and technological evolution. In the early years, the Lincoln penny featured the now famous wheat ears reverse design created by Victor David Brenner, whose initials were famously controversial in their placement and size. On the original coins, the obverse design has always carried the profile of President Lincoln facing right, which was revolutionary at the time since previous U.S. coins featured symbolic representations rather than real historical figures. In the beginning, the composition was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But wartime needs and inflation have led to several changes over the years, including the steel cents of 1943 and the more recent zinc core versions used today. As we focus now on the 2011 Lincoln pennies, it is important to understand their place within the broader context of the shield cent design, which replaced the Lincoln Bicentennial series that ran from 2009 through 2010. The 2011 penny carries the Union Shield reverse design, which was introduced in 2010 to symbolize President Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single unified country. The shield contains 13 vertical stripes, bound together with a horizontal bar at the top, representing the original 13 states joined in unity under a federal government, and the banner across the front reads, 1 cent. A strong and straightforward representation of American unity, strength, and economic foundation. These 2011 pennies were struck at 2 different mints, Philadelphia and Denver, and they also exist in several different finishes, including the standard business strike as well as higher quality satin and proof finishes made for collectors. The Philadelphia coins do not carry a mint mark, while the Denver issues bear the D mint mark, and each has subtle characteristics that can make individual coins more or less valuable depending on condition, rarity, strike quality, and errors or varieties that occurred during the minting process. In terms of mintage, the 2011 Lincoln cents were produced in massive numbers, with over 2 billion coins struck in Philadelphia and a similar number in Denver, but despite their commonality, there are specific varieties within the 2011 issue that have gained attention among collectors and dealers, especially coins with doubled dies, die cracks, plating issues, and striking anomalies that can dramatically affect their desirability and value among numismatists. Let us take a closer look at the diagnostic features of a genuine 2011 Lincoln cent, starting with the obverse, where you will find the familiar image of President Lincoln as refined over time. His profile is crisp, and the inscriptions include the word Liberty, the year 2011, and either a mint mark or blank space, where the Philadelphia Mint produced the coin on the reverse. The Union Shield is surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent, each of which should be evaluated carefully under magnification to detect any possible die errors or doubling issues, particularly in the lettering and shield lines, which can often produce valuable double die varieties. One of the more interesting aspects of modern Lincoln cents is their susceptibility to plating issues, since they are made from a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This means that improperly bonded or poorly struck coins can show signs of bubbling, flaking, or peeling, which, while considered errors, can be quite valuable to error collectors, and these issues are especially noted in 2011 pennies, when quality control at the mints was still refining their processes for the new shield design. Now let us talk about the collector's market and how 2011 Lincoln pennies are valued and traded today, despite their relatively young age. Coins from this year have already started making appearances in certified slabs with high grades from professional services like PCGS and NGC. A perfect MS70 or PR70 grade on a coin of this age may still be relatively affordable, but as time passes and as fewer examples survive in pristine condition, these top-grade coins can significantly increase in value. Collectors pay special attention to coins with full strike details, brilliant luster and absence of contact marks, and the difference between an MS66 and an MS67 can mean hundreds of dollars in auction. There are also a number of documented varieties for the 2011 Lincoln cent, including double die obverses and reverses off-center strikes, die clashes, cuds, and other striking errors that turn ordinary pocket change into something far more interesting and potentially valuable, and we will take time during this video to walk through known examples of these varieties and teach you how to spot them using common tools, like a jeweler's loupe or digital microscope, so you can start identifying high-value coins in your own collection or pocket change. But to really appreciate the value of the 2011 Lincoln cent, we also have to look at the bigger picture of how modern coin collecting has evolved in recent years. The rise of online marketplaces, digital grading technologies, and a more informed collector base has made even modern circulating coins a hotbed of interest and competition. And as more people get into the hobby, the demand for specific dates and varieties increases, especially when people are trying to build complete sets or registry sets in top grades. We will also explore the historical and economic context of 2011, which marked a period of recovery after the 2008 financial crisis, and saw changes in metal pricing, inflation, and budget concerns at the U.S. Mint, which influenced everything from coin designs to mintage strategies and even discussions in Congress about whether to eliminate the penny altogether. And yet through all this, the Lincoln cent remained a cultural and economic staple, serving not just as currency, but as a symbol of enduring values and national unity. By the time we conclude this 2-hour journey through the 2011 Lincoln penny, you will have a solid understanding of its origins, its composition, its varieties, its market performance, and its potential value. As part of a larger collection, you will learn how to evaluate coins, how to grade them, how to store them properly, how to research varieties, and how to stay up to date with market trends so that you can make informed decisions as a collector, whether you are just starting out or deep into the hobby. So make sure to like, subscribe, and join us as we continue to uncover the stories behind the coins in your pocket and the treasures hiding in plain sight, because every coin has a story, and the 2011 Lincoln cent is no exception, from the history of its design to the nuances of its production to the excitement of the hunt. This coin is a perfect example of why numismatics continues to captivate people all over the world. Welcome back to the channel, and let's get started with this incredible exploration of the Lincoln pennies of 2011, where we take deep dives into the fascinating world of coin collecting and coin value analysis. And today, we are going to explore the incredible history and value evolution of Lincoln pennies, along with key insights into 2021 coinage that every collector and investor should know, whether you are just beginning your numismatic journey or have years of experience under your belt. This video will guide you through the most essential and most intriguing details of one of America's most iconic coin series, the Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This penny became the first regular issue United States coin to feature a real person, and it replaced the Indian head cent that had circulated since 1859. The designer Victor David Brenner created the obverse portrait of Lincoln based on a photograph taken in 1864, and the initials VDB appeared prominently on the reverse of the first issues, which stirred controversy among the public and led to their temporary removal. Later, they were discreetly restored to the obverse under Lincoln's shoulder, where they remain today. Now, moving forward through the decades, we will walk through every major design shift, composition change, mint mark detail, error, variety, and rarity, from the original wheat reverse struck from 1909 to 1958 to the memorial reverse that followed from 1959 to 2008, celebrating the Lincoln Memorial Building and marking 150 years since his birth. Then we enter the modern era from 2009 with the bicentennial reverse program, which introduced 4 different designs representing key phases of Lincoln's life, such as his birth and early childhood in Kentucky, his formative years in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, and his presidency in Washington, D.C. These special reverses were issued for 1 year only before the introduction of the Shield reverse in 2010, which remains in circulation today. This coin features a Union shield with a scroll bearing the inscription 1 cent, meant to symbolize Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single country. Now we must discuss the metal compositions, which have changed several times due to economic factors, including during World War II, when the 1943 Lincoln cents were struck on zinc-coated steel instead of the usual bronze, leading to one of the most famous error coins in American history, the 1943 copper cent, which was struck on leftover planchets and is now worth thousands or even over $100,000 depending on condition and provenance. We will analyze year by year the minting figure's strike qualities, key dates, proof issues, and double die varieties, including famous examples like the 1955 double die obverse and the 1969 S double die, which are highly sought after by collectors and considered grails of the Lincoln series. Transitioning into the modern collecting scene, we will cover how grading affects value with reference to leading grading services like PCGS and NGC. We will examine population reports and what makes a coin worthy of MS66 red or higher designations, and we will look at the evolution of packaging from original bank rolls to modern slabbed certified coins. We will also touch on coin roll hunting and how thousands of collectors are still finding valuable cents in circulation, and how knowledge of mint marks and small variations can lead to big discoveries. Then we will move into the 2021 coinage and take a focused look at the Lincoln cent from that year, which was issued in massive quantities across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. While the design remained the same, subtle die changes and quality differences produced some exciting error coins, and doubled die remained the same. Subtle die changes and quality differences produced some exciting error coins and doubled die varieties, which we will catalog for you in detail. We will analyze the mintage statistics, market activity, and auction prices of 2021, pennies from uncirculated and proof sets, and how they compare with earlier years, including the effect of the ongoing coin shortage and changes in public demand. We will also break down the impact of third-party verification and how demand in online marketplaces like eBay or heritage auctions reflects shifts in collector interest. We will look at toning strike sharpness and even coin chemistry, and how storage methods affect long-term value in cents both old and modern for over 100 years. The Lincoln penny has not only circulated among billions of Americans, but also stood as a living piece of history evolving with the nation through wars, economic shifts, social change, and artistic transformation, and this channel is here to help you understand the depth of that history with precise detail, collector insight, and expert knowledge. So whether you're collecting for fun, for investment, or to preserve a piece of heritage, stay tuned, because this episode will take you on a journey from 1909 to the present moment, a story told through copper, bronze, and zinc, through art and commerce, through the hands of workers and the vision of engravers, through the rarity of errors and the patterns of mass production, and we are just getting started. Lincoln cents? We now turn our attention to the key varieties and errors that have shaped the collector market and captured the fascination of numismatists around the world. We begin with the most famous double-die errors, such as the 1955 double-die obverse, which displays strong doubling of the date, and inscriptions, especially in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." This coin was accidentally released into circulation and became legendary, overnight fetching high prices even in circulated grades. Similar doubling can be found on the 1972 double die and the extremely rare 1969 S double die, obverse with fewer than 100 confirmed examples. These coins exhibit strong Class I doubling, which results from misalignment in the hubbing process during die creation. Another coveted variety is the 1995 double die obverse, which, although more common than earlier examples, still commands strong interest from collectors and is often found in mint state due to being caught early in its distribution. In addition to double dies, we explore repunched mint marks known as RPMs, which are particularly common in the 1940s and 1950s when mint marks were punched manually. Examples like the 1944 D over D or 1956 D over D are highly collectible and often fly under the radar of less experienced collectors. We will examine how these repunched marks can be spotted using magnification and lighting, and how their value varies across different grades and appearances. We will also discuss overdates like the elusive 1918 over 7D, which combines a date from the previous year with the next due to die reuse, and remains one of the great rarities of the wheat cent series. Then we investigate transitional errors, which occur when planchets or dies from one composition or design are accidentally used in another year. The most famous of these is the aforementioned 1943 copper cent, but there is also the 1944 steel cent, a rare error that occurred when leftover steel planchets from 1943 were mistakenly used in 1944. Another example is the 1982 small date copper and zinc transition year, which features 7 major varieties due to the change in composition from 95% copper to the current copper-plated zinc. This year alone requires careful study to distinguish small date from large date and copper from zinc using simple weight measurement and magnification. We also delve into the minting process itself, explaining how dies are created, hubs are pressed and coins are struck, and how errors at each stage can produce the varieties we now collect, from die cracks and cuds to off-center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets. Each type of error tells a different story about the coin's creation and journey, and we show how to identify them, authenticate them, and understand their relative scarcity. Next, we explore the economics of coin collecting with a close look at price. Guides like the Red Book auction records from Heritage Stacks Bowers and Great Collections, and third-party grading services that establish value and legitimacy. We explain the difference between raw coins and graded coins, and how certifications like MSRD, RB, and BN affect value, especially for Lincoln cents, which can show vivid color changes over time due to toning. We explore how storage conditions influence color,